getting ready. Live on in the group. The Gavin Lance Top page and the Gavin Top YouTube channel. So, all right, gentlemen. So the biggest trap successful men are making. You know, that's one video that's going nuts. It's a free video where I go through the 8 biggest reasons successful men are failing. Okay, if you go to gavintop.com, that's a complimentary teaching video. But the success trap, okay, what does that mean? All right, what does that mean? Because we all want success. We all long for success. Every man on planet Earth. You know what I mean? Whatever success means to you. So anyway, in this video, I'm going to go through 4 different things. All right, I'm going to talk about the success trap, how that looks. Inkling, if you're too busy, you need to listen to this. All right. Then I'm going to tell you how I can actually quickly help you get out of it with this next challenge, okay? So that you have more time for you, your family, etc. Then I'm going to tell you how I created the best year of my life. All right, that's basically what I wanted. That's the point, man. So for 2026, what does that look like? Is it more of the same, particularly if you're in that success trap? And then of course I'm going to talk about really who's it for, because I mean it's for leaders, men who want to level up, basically, you know. But really looking at groups of men. You know, we're all leaders, not every man leads. So, all right, what does success look like, and what? Because I had this dream, this mission to actually help so many men, and over the years since the 90s, but particularly living out my dream, my dream then anyway, for becoming a fighter. What I did was, I got to live my dream, but what I realized was after the career, and there's a lot of successful men that have certain seasons and careers, whether it be business or sport, and then reach a height, and then there's only one way down, and that's plateau, unless you understand the transition from one season to another, which is what we're going to talk about, okay? In the challenge, but I'll give you some hints. This obviously I can't do a 4-day challenge in the next 15 minutes, all right? But I'm going to do my best, all right? So what does success actually look like for me? Imagine this, right? With that boxing program, Fight Like a Pro, and there's like 4 elements that really were hitting the target. Okay, like I mean, where the first challenge was making better men. Men would sign up to a boxing program 10 weeks, but then they become better husbands, fathers, sons, leaders. You know, it turned into an initiation validation process. So men would double their income. They would just see holes in their armor, you know, and obviously eliminate them. So wives were benefiting, children were benefiting. Great. Like, remember, I'm going to talk about my success trap, right? Then it's like the community were benefiting. Goodness me, you know, there was camaraderie in men. Like, even for example, we would do a session on Saturday morning to finish off the week. We'd do stairs, sand dunes, hill sprints, whatever. At the end of it, I'd do a quick speech. We'd do about around the rite of passage. I'd do a speech. Then men would, how does that relate to them in their life? Okay, they would go through a manual that we do. Sometimes we get between 20 and 40 men to that Saturday morning session. After that session, you know, most of the men we'd go to a cafe. All right, a cafe. We'd book it, you know, like we would just overtake a cafe. You know, a mate of mine who actually done the program a couple of times, we used to go to his cafe, all right? So, man, we would start at 5 a.m. in the morning, right? We wouldn't finish breakfast till like 9. It was like a half a day. The community, the camaraderie was next level. How do I stop that? You understand this was a success trap. Okay, it was exactly what I wanted. Sometimes at the end of that breakfast, we talk about benefiting the community. We would go to a women's refuge, a sanctuary, and work the rest of the day there. Build fences, units, accommodation. Like there was so much things that we would build or make, or in regards to maintenance. Like, how do you stop that? We're talking about success trap, okay? We ended up, the amount of men I had helping me were much smarter than me, by the way. We ended up creating a charity, okay? The amount of money and funds we would raise, to build 6 units, you need some money. Plus, companies would donate materials. Hutchinson Builders were absolutely phenomenal, back in Australia. There was trucks. I know many of our other builders helped. They come and do my program, bring their teams of people. What are those guys? The Simmons, Heath and Chris Simmons, they're 2 amazing brothers with a massive building company on the Gold Coast. They would brew their teams to help, like Labor. Anyway, I'm talking about the success trap. How do I stop that? Because over the years, what happened was I got close people close, and people from afar as well. I'd say, Gav, how do you do it, man? How do you can't imagine this. I'm running between 4 and 6 groups of men, up to 100 men a year doing the 10-week program. Plus men would come and say, Gav, I'm not leaving. How can I stay involved? So I created that Betterment group, the charity, etc. So there, at one stage there was like 90 plus men helping, serving, in the different things that we had involved. Like there was so many men helping, and serving the community. Every event I did, I'd use it to raise money for somebody, a charity, an organisation, etc., to help serve the community. How do I stop that? People say, how do you do it? I don't know. I just got to do it, man. I'm on mission. And it costs. It costs. Like it costs energy, it costs time with my family, it costs resources, money, time. But hey, when you're built that way, what else are you going to do? That's what I used to say. All right, I've learned. I've got a little bit smarter. Right, you can have both. And this is what I want to talk about at the back end of this. So just quickly. And this is what I did over the years, particularly when the pandemic happened. It was because I changed things before the pandemic. I was very fortunate to change things up. That's when I put that first book online. Go to GavinTop, GavinTop.com. There's a rite of passage for the modern man. Go and grab that, right? I wrote that book to help men because I couldn't get to everyone. That's the bottom line. So in 2019, I actually put that online. I wrote it in 2017. I put it online because I was too busy to get it happening online, would you believe, okay? Success trap, all right? So who's hearing the theme here? So, all right, so 2019, I changed it up. I put that book online, took off. All of a sudden, we're reaching men all around Australia, not just in that city in southeast Queensland. We started reaching men in New Zealand. All of a sudden, it was phenomenal, okay? Still hadn't got there yet, but I started to think I've got time now. I've got time freedom. I've got resource freedom. What does I want to do? So I started to think about what would make the next 12 months, what would make the next year the best year of my life. Like that's an amazing thought process. So I started to I'm a whiteboard man. I'm looking at whiteboards in front of me. I started to write down what would make it the best next 12 months of my life. So anyway, long story short, what happened? And then that pandemic hit, all right? And then it went into 2020. I actually started to do things that I'd always wanted to do. Although I'd been very successful in the mission, in certain areas of my life, I've raised 7 children, I've built something extraordinary, a legacy. But one thing I always say, there's more in you, which was said to me by mentors. There's more in you, son. So anyway, what I start doing, this is what I want to do in the next Become a Better Man challenge. Okay, we've done 6 in the last little while this year. But this next one, what I want to do, I want to show you what I've been doing for 5 years now, and has every year I've fulfilled more of my dreams, more of my wife's dreams, my family's dreams, okay? So what I started to do was around this time of the year, right? What I started to do was I got really crystal clear on the next 12 months, 30-day assignments, 12 of them. It's one thing that I do in the Man Alive experience, okay? The mastermind that I do. Get really clear on the next 30 days, the next 90 days. Split that into the next 12, 30-day assignments. So what I realized when I first started to do that 5 years ago, I got so clear. I got so excited at the vision in front of me. I got so, because they're 30-day assignments, you can implement them straight away. I got momentum. What I realized was I'd actually achieved, by the time the new year come around, I had actually achieved the first quarter of the year. I'd achieved all those goals I'd set by the start of the year. In November, December, the start of January, I'd already achieved the first quarter. So it's like, I'm going to show you in this challenge, this Become a Better Man challenge, that you don't have to wait. You can actually achieve, you can get the jump on the next 12 months. What is that worth to you to get 3 months jump start on the next 12 months? So that's what I'm going to share with you in this Become a Better Man challenge on the 17th of November. I think it's brilliant, to be honest, because I've seen myself do it. Once I'd done it that first year, then I did it in 21, and then I did it in 2022. Then by the time, how do I make 2023 the best year of my life? Well, this is what happened. There was dreams in my heart, dreams in my wife's heart, things that were unrealistic I was doing, things that are unrealistic I was planning. I'm saying you've probably got that mindset that there's things people have said to you, I bet, well, that's not realistic. Well, I'm telling you, that's what you need to do. I'm getting pumped here. So halfway through 2023, I realized I'm achieving everything that I set out to. I ain't thinking big enough. There's dreams in me. Hence, we made the decision. So we moved overseas. I shifted my family overseas when it looked insane to many people, to the people who are subscribed to realistic. The people that are subscribed to too busy, to I can't afford it, to it's all right for you, but I've got this responsibility. I've got a business to run. I've got kids to raise. What about their education? Who cares? Let's create something bigger than every excuse you could come up with, is what I was saying. So, how do we make the next 12 months the best 12 months of your life? Well, you do this challenge, all right? If you've got all those reasons for not living your dream, if you want to let go of them, you need to do this challenge. Let's be frank here. So who is this for? I mean, I could keep going on. Who is this for? This is for men that are looking to muster the courage to step up in their family, in their business, in their faith. That are looking for a way, looking for inspiration, see, one of the things we go through in these challenges, right? is that day one, we look at removing the enemy, the things that are holding you back, the blind spots that are kind of, that why aren't you taking action? Well, we're going to find out why. Okay. There's an enemy crouching at the door and whispering your ear, lack, limitations. We're going to take that enemy out, okay? All right, gentlemen. So some of you men know men who need to do this, okay? You need to share this with them. Maybe you need to pay for this challenge for them. Maybe you need to grab hold of, because I'm doing this because I've been talking with a group with different men. This is for men that are successful and want to go to the next level. Okay. So they've all got groups of men. I've got men saying, hang on, how do I enroll 5 of my team? How do I enroll 9, 8 of my team? How do I get more men to do this? I've got men that are looking after men's groups in churches doing this, enrolling all their men. I've got men in companies. I've got men in different sporting organizations. Okay. So gentlemen, this is going to be the best thing you can do for 2026. I'm guaranteeing it. In fact, I actually guarantee, right, if this challenge does not exceed your expectations, and what I mean by that, if you feel like at the end of the challenge, of course you've got to do everything, right? You've got to turn up, you've got to do the work. If you feel, right, if you didn't get 10x the value, my team will give you your money back. I will give you your money back. That's how much I guarantee this challenge. If you don't get 10x the value, you can have your money back. I don't want it. Because you know what? This is the best thing I believe I've created. I've been doing this full time for 16 years. It's like I've been doing it much longer, since the 90s. But since 2009, this is all I've done. And I actually think these challenges are the best and fastest way to get the best results, to get a man on purpose, on mission, taking action, so everyone around him benefits. So that's for you. I mean, there's links in the descriptions in the bio. Hey, if you can't find me, that's your problem. All right, find a way. That can be the first challenge. Get enrolled for the 17th of November. All righty, over and out.